This time I've got an old JVC VCR. How old? Well, I'm going to say this is probably 1980, 81, somewhere in there, before hi-fi, that's for sure. It's a 4-head machine, a front loader, one of the dangerous front loaders that little kids just about lost their fingers on. Believe me, I just about lost my fingers on this one too. Bad design, the way it's designed. Anyway, this one is not working. Now, just due to the age, it probably isn't worth fixing, but we're going to take a look and see what's wrong. This time I've got another old relic. This one's pretty old. It's a mono 4-head JVC with manual tuning. And I haven't seen one of these forever. So on the front here you've got, these are what they call a varactor tuner. So it had, how many 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. It only went channels 2 to 13, although you could reassign them. Each channel you could reassign. So if there was unused channels in your area, you could tune something else in. And how you did it was you selected the low band, which was channels 2 to 6, or the mid band, which was channels 7 to 13, or they call it VHF high, and you could usually get some of the mid-band channels in there too, like the channels between about 17 and 22 on the cable. Usually would tune in there, and then there was the UHF band. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 were always on the low band, and then the others were on the VHF high band as a rule. We didn't have a lot of UHF broadcasting around here. We had 2 channels at one point. Channel 21, which moved to Channel 10, and the French station on Channel 26 for over-the-air broadcast. And you tuned the stations in with these little thumb wheels, each one for a separate station. So if you wanted to tune in the A position, which is Channel 2, you'd press the button and then you'd tune it up and down. I'll demo that once I get this thing going. But first things first, let's pop the top and take a look at this dinosaur. And this one is a pretty old unit. I haven't seen one like this in a long time. These, unfortunately, were the first ones that people tossed out when the cable channels, when we started getting more cable channels. And a lot of the channels started moving up to the mid and what they call the mid and the hyper bands on cable, the CATV channels, because these could not get those CATV channels. So then you had to have a separate cable box to tune your cable channels in. So when the other VCR started having cable compatible digital tuners, everybody dumped these old machines. I got an old Sony Betamax, which has got this type of varactor tuner. Look on the back, it's still got 300 ohm antenna screws. I'm going to say this is early 80s, this machine. But it's going to be the typical JVC garbage. I'm not a JVC fan. In case you didn't catch that one, the last one when I talked about JVC junk. I'm not a JVC fan, never have been. Anyway, the complaint on it is it does not play. And that it does not surprise me at all, because units of this age probably shouldn't be working. It's on. Let's see what happens if I try to load a tape. Looks like somebody serviced this on the 30th of November 1989. First of all, does it fast forward? Well, at least the idler's not shot. Amazing. Amazing. I fully expected that idler would be just toast. Let's flip the board. Pop the cover off for the heads so that I can observe what's going on. Okay, let's hit play. Drum spins. It's not completing the loading cycle. Could be a slipping belt. That's the most likely culprit, as the loading belt is slipping. Yep, I can hear the loading motor running, but it's not fully engaging. That thing just about took my finger off. Unplug the front panel. Great. Loading bolt is up top here. This one is the one that the main cam gear gets all gummed up. I wonder if I pull these screws out whether I can get a little more slack. I don't think I can. What normally causes the belt to start slipping, like the belt seems like it's got lots of tension. This worm gear, the grease dries up, so we're going to throw some lubricant on there first and see whether that'll make it work. I can test this without putting it all back together. Just plug in the plugs. Oh, now, see, it's stuck. It's probably got a broken gear in it. This is this got mechanical problems with this one. I really don't think this one's going to be one that's going to be really repairable. It's got plastic gears under here that operate both of these guides. They had counter-rotating plastic gears right down in here, and well, they're not turning properly. It's probably a broken tooth off of one of them. It's more than likely what the fault is on this. It's certainly not, like this one's not even all the way back. It should be back. It should be back here. If we watch it again, see? I guarantee you the tooth is broken off of that gear. It's only threading one side. And we'll hear it clicking probably on the way back down. Yeah, you see? Yeah, it's got a broken gear for sure. Which was quite common on these. You know, people say, oh, I want one of these old machines because they're all metal. Well, this part's metal, but there's plastic underneath it, and plastic that's, well, this is at least 40 years old, probably older. It was serviced in 89. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is probably, I don't know what year this is, 82. Is it? I wonder what the code on the back here, does it say? It was serviced at Guilford Electronics. They weren't great machines when they were new. They had a lot of issues. Let's see if I can spot the broken gear. Usually there's a broken gear down here. There's a couple gears in here. I wonder if I can spot the one that's broken that operate those cams. Can we see it? I wonder. Oh, timer's on. No wonder. This is the gears down here. Those are usually the ones that break. Where's play? Yeah. you can see that gear's got a break. That gear there is broken. This one's still turning. This other one stopped. One is what loads one, and then this one here reverses so that it turns the other gear the other direction. Let's see here. Oh yeah. I can see the tooth off it right from here. The tooth is missing right there. You can see it. There we go. That's the fault on this one. Broken tooth on a plastic gear. There's another problem with these ones, and they had to actually change the design on this. There was a safety bulletin issued because little kids were sticking their fingers in, and when the eject button was hit, the tape actually comes up and then goes back down, and you catch your finger in here and it'll just keep turning. Watch the tape when it comes out. See, the tape goes up and then back down. What was happening is little kids would have their fingers in there when they pressed the eject button, and well, they get their fingers caught between this metal bar and the tape because of the way it lifts the tape up. It was a bad design, and because of the worm gear that it's got over here on this side, it had a hell of a lot of torque. Little kids would get their fingers caught in there and get their fingers crushed. So anyway, I'm gonna throw this one back together, let the fellow know that he's got a good door stop. He's got a prop, basically. That's all this is. This is just an old VCR for display, because it's not going to work. Parts are shot. Even if you could get that gear, it's a huge job. You got to pull the drum. You got to pull the drum out. You got to pull this piece apart and replace that gear. It's not an easy one to change. When these were broken in the field, and it's not like this is the first time I've seen it, but back in the 80s when that gear broke, it was a throwaway. On the bottom, Canada patent 1979-1980. As I say, it's a front loader, so it was probably 80-81. That's when the front loaders started hitting the store shelves. We started seeing front loaders in the very early 80s, and this is a very early one. Patented 1980, therefore that's when this was designed. I would think that this one was probably made right around that time. Look at the remote that came with this one. It doesn't do anything other than turn it on and off. TV video button. You've got your basic transport controls, and that's it. Anyway, another one back together, ready for the scrap heap. I think he said he got it just because it had the colored buttons on it. It's a display piece is all it is now. Thanks for watching.